This might be the hardest race I have ever raced in MX bikes. What is up, everybody? It is Rodak here with Rodak's Revival, and today I am bringing you round 7 of the SIRL series here at Foxgrove MX. Now, the reason I say this is one of the hardest tracks I have ever raced is just look at this thing. There is water everywhere because the rain setting was on, so there was just ruts everywhere. There was puddles in all the ruts and all the corners and all the little bumps, so when the erode kicked in, you couldn't see where any of the holes were or where the bad spots of erode was. It was hard to find a lot of traction. There was a bunch of massive jumps. There was some rhythm sections, and if you just made a little slight mistake and slid out just a little bit, you weren't making a section and you were going to lose a lot of time. So with that being said, today I am going to show you guys moto number 2. You know how it is over here. You're going to get the full moto, and I'll talk a little bit throughout, but a lot of the times it's just raw racing. And if you guys want to see moto number 1 completely uncut, it is over on my Patreon along with the setup that I used during this race. That Patreon link is down in the description, along with the Discords of myself, my team, my model swap creator, the SIRL Discord, and the track link. So let me quit yapping and let's hop right into it. All right, so here we are, boys, moto number 2, and this is the first time I think I'm posting on here where you guys can actually see my controller overlay. And so I use paddles, so if you see the left stick click and go white, that means I'm sitting and standing, and if you see the right stick click, then that is me pulling a tear off. But here we are, moto number 1, or no, moto number 2, what am I talking about? Gonna need to get off to a good start. This track is absolutely treacherous, and we've already got a ton of erode because of moto number 1. So sit back, enjoy, and yeah, this was a rough one. So this corner coming up right here was giving everybody fits. It was raised on the inside. It was longer around the outside, but you could get some weird Poboso physics coming out of this and some tire slip coming up over that jump. Man, this was, like I said, this is probably the hardest track I've ever motoed in. Lot of people gonna go down right here, so that's gonna give us even more spots, and another person goes down right there, and yeah, I start to, you'll see me panic here in just a second because I see that I'm in 3rd place, and I'm never this far up when it comes to the SIRL races, and yeah, I got a little antsy, I'm not gonna lie. So right here I make a little bit of mistake. I overjumped that just a little bit, and I'm gonna miss the triple in this section. And like I said in the intro, if you miss a section, you lose a lot of time. You saw how fast 2nd place pulled away from me right there. But going over this finish line is when I realized that I was in 3rd, and this is actually the 1st and 2nd here in front of me, and that's when I started to, yeah, hands started getting a little sweaty. Missed my inside line right there. The other lines were just not viable. They were either really slick, the rut was weird, or it just took you the long way around. Now right there, I did not know there were barriers on those banners, and I get a little bit of slip coming up that jump, and look at this right here. It's like it's like a crazy invisible wall, and it was so hard to get through. It was like molasses, and Yeah, I didn't know that was there, and I got a little bit of tire slip going up that first jump, and it sent me off to the right a little bit. I thought I was just gonna land off the side and be able to get back on. Nope, sends me over the bars. I lose 2 spots. Now I'm trying to push because I want to get those 2 spots back, and yeah, this was not the track where you could just push. You can see all the holes from the first moto in that rut, but you can't see them because everything's covered in water. So it made it super hard, and that's how it looked already. And we're only like, I'm like 2 minutes into this second moto. Right here, I know Dizzle is a little bit faster, so I just kind of slow down, let him go around me. He gives the fist bump, letting me know like, hey, I appreciate it. He had the better drive. There's no point in taking us both out. I don't know how those guys were doubling into that corner, and then right there I get weird physics that never happened to me. And then right here I'm like stuck because there's that invisible barrier again, and I just lose even more positions and getting frustrated. But you know, we got to try to hold it together because like I said, this track does you had to be on your P's and Q's the whole time because random stuff like that will happen where your tire just slips out and you're along for the ride at that point. And then right here I didn't get any traction. Then I got traction, and now I'm stuck in the banners again, and they're taking forever to get back on. And yeah, it all fell apart literally all in one lap, and I'm getting some weird Poboso physics there. And I'm like, all right, at this point, I'm like, okay, you tried to push, you had a good start, and you kind of threw it away. You tried to push and go fast. That's not the case. This track is just going to continue to get worse. I do better when the track gets slower because I just don't have that raw speed like some of the fast guys do. So I'm just, at this point, I'm just telling myself, all right, just calm down, just ride the race. And if you get past, you get past for going slower, but people will come back to you because people are going to make mistakes. And yeah, just try to hold it together. Just try to stay up because I know people are going to fall. Just try not to crash. Now that guy right there is gonna go down. He almost takes my line, but right up here, he is about to piss me off like no other because I'm like, all right, I'm just trying to lock into a flow. So you're gonna see me look back. I see he's on my right side, and I look back again right here. I see he's on my right side. So I let him have these inside lines. What does he do? Completely come in here and T-bone me and take me off the track. At that point, all I wanted to do was catch that guy and absolutely punt him because I'm like, bro, I'm all for, like, you know, rubbing his racing and stuff like that, but like I gave you inside lines and you were already inside of, you know, inside of on my right side. Why would you still T-bone me? That just makes no sense whatsoever. It's just completely uncalled for, and it just really kind of sucks when you get people that play like idiots in this game. And so, yeah, if you saw your name and you know that's you, then yeah, you're an idiot. But here we are, we're still going back up into 9th, and I mean, that's not great from considering where we started. We were in third, but we gotta try to regroup again because that guy wanted to take me out. And so yeah, let's regroup and we gotta try to find a flow. There I go down. That was just unfortunate. We had a pretty good flow going. Was at like 2 laps, lap and a half without crashing, but it happens. You know, you tag your handlebar on one of the little ruts and the front tire slides out because it's so slick or whatever the case may be. I knew it was gonna happen. It's just a matter of trying to limit how many times you crash. And that was weird right there. You just saw like the back tire just slid out. I wasn't even full throttle or anything. It just, yeah, the track would just come up and bite you literally out of nowhere. So coming up over the finish line with 2 minutes to go, we are actually up to 5th place. I know we were kind of in no man's land, but we were chasing Leahy. He was about 2 to 3 seconds in front of me pretty much that whole time. He ended up going down, so I'm trying to take advantage and maybe come away with my first top 5. Right there, that was a lapper. I know he was trying to do his best to get out of the way, but really this track was pretty one line where we had dug in the erode, so I really needed that line, and I got caught slipping right there. So now Leahy is right back on me with like a lap and a half to go, or like a minute and a lap or 2 to go. I can't remember if we do 2 laps or 1 lap, but he's gonna get by me right there because I made a mistake. So the race is on. I want that top 5. He wants that top 5. Let's see how this turns out. Now I look back and I don't see him right there, and I'm pretty sure he went down. So I was like, all right, maybe I'm just gonna get a free top 5. And then that is gonna happen right there. But then look, the ruts won't let me turn back around, and the bike's just getting drugged because of the stupid Poboso physics. And I lose so much time right there, and I'm like, man, of course, I have a top 5 handed to me, and then I go and do something like that. Like man, I could just kick myself sometimes. And then this happens. The stupid invisible wall, it takes me over the bars, so now I'm gonna get past. I lose that spot, and now I'm having trouble getting back on. I'm like, dude, don't let it fall apart now, because those guys weren't too far behind either. So I'm like, I could have easily gone from like 5th to 8th or 9th if I would have made one more mistake or crashed again. I was lucky just to lose 1 spot right there. Then I'm gonna miss the triple again, which allows the guy in front of me to get away because he was able to hit the section. And I'm like, man, do I push? Do I try to go for the top 5, or do I just play it smart and try and just bring this one home? Because 1 crash can cost a lot of time. I go and make another dumb mistake right there. I'm lucky that those barriers didn't have invisible walls, but yeah, it was really falling apart for me here in these last couple laps. And then I go down again, but luckily for once ever in MX bikes, it reset me facing the correct way. So at this point, I'm just thinking that I'm gonna stroll this thing in for 6th place if I'm able to hold on to at least. But on this track, if it was any other track, I'm just accepting 6th and it's probably not gonna happen. But on this track, I was like, anything can happen and anyone can go down at any time. And I saw some yellow flags and I look up ahead and the person that had passed me for 5th had gone down again, and it allowed me to catch back up after the mistakes that I made. So thank the gods. They blessed me on this one because I completely threw it away, and then I missed the triple section, but he does too. You can see him. We're actually gaining on him, and I'm like, man, now it reinvigorated it for me. I want this top 5. I just knew that anything could happen on this track because of how hard it was to get around this track. And yeah, 5th is right in front of us, and that would be my best moto finish ever. The white flag is out. How is it gonna play out, boys? So he actually looks like he was gonna go down right there, but he saves it. So I'm like, he's struggling. I just wanna apply pressure. And then I almost go, I don't know how I saved that, but somehow I did. Now I got someone else trying to pass me, and I'm like, I cannot let this happen. I'm not going from a potential top 5 back to 7th. I'm just not allowing that to happen. So it looks like we're coming by in 6th, but when I go over the finish line, it shows me in 5th. So I guess the person in front of me had cuts, or they went down and I didn't see it and they went off the track, but somehow I come through with the top 5 in the moto, and I only finish just like 3 or 4 seconds behind the guy that absolutely punted me in the beginning of the race. So I was like, man, I really wish I could have got that. But at the same time, this is my best moto finish ever in SIRL. I think my best finish before this in a moto was 7th or 8th. So a top 5 for the first time, I will take that. Like I said, I am a lot better if the track is a lot more rough and it slows everybody down. I just don't have that raw speed. But yeah, this was a super fun race because a lot of the races you can kind of get lulled to sleep because it's the same rhythm. It's not really getting that rough. But this one, it was so slick that you had to just be on point or you were gonna make little mistakes here or there and the track was gonna come bite you. So I really enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Like I said, if you wanna see moto number 1, it was another good one as well. That is over on my Patreon. But with that being said, if you guys liked the video, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.